Welcome to the mat. Here is your 20-minute full body sculpt session. Recommendation for light and heavy weights. I have 2 3-pound weights and 2 15-pound weights in this video. Get ready to feel strong and confident in the strength of your body.
All right, friends, let's get started. Feet are out wide, wiggle out the hips, breathe into the moment, okay? Prepare the mind and the body as you're starting with the stretch through your fingers. You go down one side, hand to ankle, bring that opposite hand in, stretch into it, bringing those hands towards the knees, rounding the spine as you're going through each motion. So good. So taking those hands back out, wiggling out the hips, bringing that opposite hand into the other leg, your other hand meets it, and you're slowly going from the ankle back to the knee, rounding the spine in every rep. Hands come out, hands come up, down to the mat, slight bend in the knees, bend the ankles, as you're warming up your joints, full body stretch. Pick up your weights, let's get started. Wide plie squat. Bringing those hands all the way up into a press and then lowering as you're coming down into a squat. From the head down to the tailbone, you have a long diagonal line. Think about keeping that back straight as your knees are coming out. You're seeing the heart rate as you're going through each rep one at a time. Switching out the press with a front raise as you're dropping back into the squat. The hands come in line with the shoulders. You're keeping that back straight, okay? Knees are coming out wide and you're engaging your inner thighs or your adductors here. Your glutes are heavily working. Outer glutes, hello baby, are poking out. You're bringing those hands all the way in line with the shoulders, giving that contraction here in those shoulder muscles. And of course in the lower body. Alternating curtsy lunge, bringing those hands to the chest with both weights. Option to go weightless, but you're dropping one leg back one at a time, okay? Alternating as you're coming down. You have that cross on the legs, almost to an X position or a bowing position like curtsy, right? Dropping the chest slightly. Now, if you increase the hinge at the hips, you give more engagement to the glutes for a more thigh-focused work. You can bring that more to an upright position. So just a couple of options as you're staying in the work. Single leg curtsy lunge with a biceps curl. So getting warmed up back into that curtsy lunge, you're bringing your biceps into a contraction this time with a hammer curl, okay? So as you're dropping that back leg, you're contracting into your hammer curl, then bringing those hands back to the side once you return from that lunge. That long diagonal line is still present, y'all, from the head down to the tailbone as you're contracting your biceps into that hammer curl, lowering down into that curtsy lunge, engaging the outer glutes, baby. Friend, you crushed it. Shake it out, switch sides. This time, as you're dropping into that curtsy lunge with the other leg, you're going to bring your palms facing in and then, of course, towards the shoulders, still engaging the biceps here. In both positions, they're contracting. However, you have 2 heads of your biceps, okay? And you're working both here in this workout. Dropping that knee, bringing those alternating side lunge, moving through, dropping the hips side to side. You have one lunge per side, okay? That makes it alternating as you're working through your outer glutes, both cheeks, okay? So as you're going into that lunge, you're dropping the chest in a full hinge. Option to go weightless or keep these weights by the chest, giving you just a little bit more intensity here as you're working up that heart rate one more time. And don't forget to smile, okay? I know sometimes we forget to smile, we forget to breathe, but this is an opportunity for joy, all right? Shake it out, moving on to one side. So dropping the chest, hinging. This time, adding a lat row as you get into that bottom range of motion here. That knee is in line with the ankle, your hinge, and you're bringing those weights towards the rib cage, engaging your lats as your shoulder blades squeeze together. Lat rows, bringing those palms towards the rib cage, elbows coming all the way back, squeezing the shoulder blades, squeeze, y'all, as you're going through, breathing through, one rep at a time. Switching out your weights, grabbing both heavy dumbbells, optional to keep the lighter weights, but you're sinking into a heavy squat. Feet are slightly turned out, weights are at your shoulders, you're dropping the hips all the way down. Your knees are slightly in line with the ankles here. And as you're coming to that bottom range of motion here in that squat, you have your hamstrings coming to a parallel form towards the mat. So that's how you know you got into your deepest form. And sometimes, y'all, you have to remind yourself it takes a while to get used to these positions. So if your glutes are not all the way dropping yet, go to what's the bottom range of motion for you and just practice trying to get lower each rep one at a time. Great work, y'all. Moving on, side lunge, rotated bicep curls. So, sinking into that side lunge on one side, which is familiar by now. This time, you're adding a rotated bicep curl. So, as you come back up to that power stance, you're rotating that palm facing in and bringing it towards the shoulder. Dropping the chest as you're going into that alternating lunge. And then slowly resisting as you're bringing that rotation towards the palm, contracting your biceps. Nice work, shake it out. Opposite leg, dumbbell comes back down as you're dropping into that lunge. You're bringing that palm facing in as you're rotating through that biceps curl, and then slowly coming back into your next rep. Keeping your smiles, yes, as you're moving through here. Again, your lower body is functioning, your core is working to support your form, and you're also working the upper body. So heart rate continues to climb this entire exercise because you're consistently working the full body. Perfect. Moving into a heavy roll-up. You have one dumbbell in hand. You lay down on a mat, press down your lower spine, hands come out wide, and you're rolling up one vertebrae at a time. As you're lifting through the core, that weight comes up, and your feet are pressed into the mat in each rep, keeping it slow and in control as you're coming on your way up, contracting the rectus abdominis, using that weight to actually add balance to you, more stability and control, and then slowly resisting as you're coming back down. Great work, y'all. Moving on. Kneeling upright row. You have both dumbbells in your hand, option to keep it heavy. You're moving through, bringing one weight up towards the armpit, okay? And then the other doing the same thing. Your elbows are coming out wide to the sides of you each rep. Your core is engaged, so you feel that contraction the entire time. These back muscles are so good to work, y'all. Alright, it's going to help you do the pushes that you have throughout the day. And yes, it's going to look good in those dresses, okay? One rep at a time. Laying down back on the mat, you have your heavy glute bridges. Okay, so there's a dumbbell on each hip bone. Your feet are out wide. You can turn those feet out to give you more of a outer glute focus. Engaging the core as you're bringing those hips all the way up and then slowly lowering back down. That was some work. Alright, y'all, back to the mat. You're in a standing position. This time you're coming into a drop of the hips and a hinge as you're moving into gorilla rows. So, one dumbbell in each hand. You're pressing through as you bring that elbow back. Your shoulder blade squeezes in. And this time you're engaging your lat muscles. You've worked your entire back, starting with your upright row, with your delts, and your rhomboids. Right here, you're in your lats. As you're bringing those elbows back one at a time, keeping the glutes low to support you in this position. Shake it out, drop the weights. Moving on to plank down dog. Hands come down to the mat, your feet extend behind you, hips are slightly higher than the shoulders. You're going to bring those hips all the way up to a down dog position or a pike position, then slowly lower back into that plank form. Your full body is still in motion here, but this time is a stretch also as you're bringing those glutes closer towards the ceiling, controlling as you lower back into the plank. Eye gaze is down the entire time. When you're ready, bringing those feet turned out into a side plank. Yes, you can. Holding here. Switching through back to your plank, side plank on the other side. Lift the hips. Back to that plank position. Into your down dog to stretch that out. Option to come down to a child's pose as you thank yourself. That was hard work, alright? Give yourself kudos. Now, moving on, y'all. We're back into our mat work. Option here to grab your light weights as you roll your spine back down. Feet are tabletop, your hands are out, extended right in front of you. You're bringing one hand down as you lower the opposite leg for a bird dog here. Your lower back is pressed into the mat the entire time. Your eye gaze is forward. You're breathing through one rep at a time. After all of that heavy full body work, you're here being consistent, yes, as you're easing through, lowering, controlling the core. knowing that you're almost done with this workout. Your core finisher is the last thing that you have, and you're bringing all of that full body work into the mat one last time. Take a break. Moving on into the next position. Your change here is bringing those hands together with both weights still in hand. You're lowering and lifting the entire body. So legs go down, arms go down. Bringing it back into that tabletop, hands in line with the shoulders. Then extending back again. Embracing the core, keeping that lower back planted into the mat the entire time. Take a break. Switch positions. This time, your hands come to the chest. Your feet are coming all the way out wide into a V. You lower, lift, bring the feet together, lower, back into that V. Your goal is to keep the core engaged, lower back planted, while you're using your legs to lower and lift slowly and in control. Switching into scissors, lowering one leg at a time, alternating while keeping your back pressed into the mat. Shoulder blades can come to a lift, or they can come back intact with the mat. Whatever challenges you through these last few moments, y'all, of core before you wrap up this work. Ring it out. Here is your last exercise. You have your glute bridges, y'all. Bring those weights up or bring those hands up. You're lifting the glutes, your hips all the way up, and you're finding your rhythm. Embracing the core. Your glutes are still locked in, pressing heavy into the mat as you're breathing through one rep at a time, y'all. Hold in a pause, rock the hips if you want to, but this is where you finish. Rotating the palms, facing in, whatever you can do to give yourself a little umph before you go. Rocking at the hips, bringing those palms facing in and out, squeezing through the glutes. Here is where you bring your money shots in, y'all. Bring those weights down. You made it. Hold. Legs are out. Embrace the core. Shoulder blades are lifted. You got this. Last moments and you're done. Amazing work. Okay, are the edges here, honey? They're lifting, okay? The edge control is gone. You made it. Bringing your legs out wide. Here you're going to straddle as you're bringing your hands all the way out. Stretching through the core and the glutes here. Staying mobile this entire time. Thanking yourself for carving out 20 minutes. One hand comes to the leg, to the ankle. Bringing that opposite hand in. Stretching with a rotation out to the side. And then repeating on the other side. Hand goes to the toes. That opposite hand comes to reach. Rotating through your spine. One last time here on this opposite side. Coming into a cross. Here's where you end off with a breath. Thanking yourself for being here, igniting with your body, and taking this strength with you wherever you go, confident in whatever you can do. And it all started here. Have a great day, y'all.